Without further ado, go ahead. I'm sorry, Dane.
No, go ahead. Go, please.
Without further ado, like I said, we got family in the building. We don't have Mister with us tonight. I know he gonna walk by though. He gonna walk by. As soon as we start talking about them,
you like them oysters.
When we mention them oysters, he'll pop in. But ladies and gentlemen, coming back to the Golden Boot, our good friend, our family, Miss Nikki Hughes. How you doing, Miss Nikki?
I'm great. Good evening, everybody.
All right. You know what? I almost got offended because I just saw the top of your shirt. I realized it's Bishop Gorman, but it looked like Auburn for a minute.
It looked like Florida.
That's what I thought it was Florida.
Yeah, like, hold on.
I saw orange and blue. I was like, well, ladies and gentlemen, that was the quickest.
But you guys got to let me. I'm also in school at Florida, so I'm a student. So Florida, some of that is my colors too. But I didn't go to the game yesterday. I said I ain't going.
I would have never went to that game either.
Nah.
Florida didn't go to.
Florida didn't either. Exactly.
Yeah, Florida didn't show up. Hey, you seen the way they celebrated that field goal at the end of the game, like they had just won the game, just because they didn't get shut out?
Yeah, I felt like it should have been UCLA anyway. I didn't think that was a good matchup, and it was a lot of empty seats in there, so they were pretty much giving tickets away. So that's why I said I could have went.
Yeah. You know why they celebrated that, don't you?
Because they didn't get shut out.
Yeah, because they have like a 30, if I'm not like 30 years
shutout record.
Not being shut out. So yeah, it's gonna happen.
Either way it go though. That's still hilarious. That's still hilarious. The way they fans doing the Gator Chomp, down 30-3.
Oh, to start to that Billy Napier
area. Yeah. I appreciate you, Oregon State. Yeah. Miss Nikki, signing day is coming up. It is this is a culmination of a lot of things for you and your family.
Absolutely.
God forbid there should be no more visits, no more having to searching for coaches and this, that, and the other. How does it feel to be at this point?
It's funny you asking me this question, Pooh Bear. So when you reached out to me today, I was like, the last few days I've been feeling kind of like in shock that we even at this moment, when you look at it, I was listening to you guys all talk just a second ago. I know a lot of kids that still don't have offers. In fact, there was somebody on Twitter. I don't know if you saw it, because I thought you may have saw it, but it said this kid had said he reached out to 1,000 coaches and no one responded. And I remember us being in that grind, trying to get noticed, and and it's nothing but favor that we hear. It's just a blessing. And sometimes it's a bit of luck. I don't use the word, but sometimes it is a bit of luck. Because you imagine, because I'm looking at a kid like Trey Holly. Yes, he's in Louisiana and he wanted to go to LSU, but what if he was in a smaller community in another state? How would he get his name out there? We were blessed to play on one of the biggest stages in the country, so it's easy for us to get our name out there. But as me and Larissa were just talking about this the last 2 days, is like, this is a blessing that he was noticed at LSU. You remember my son just came off an injury, and real talk, Pooh Bear, some people backed out because they didn't think we not for sure, and now they wishing they had some get backs, but for us it's a blessing. I'm glad it's so after we made our commit, we didn't visit anywhere else, and I'm not, it's no shade on anybody else that wants to do it. I think if you're making a 40-year decision, you need to make those choices. I'm not mad at anybody for doing that. You need to know, because trust me, I've been on some visits where we knew that we weren't wanted, and I've been on some that I knew that we were wanted. So I'm just thankful to be here.
Now I do want to make a correction. Daniel actually reached out. Daniel was like,
"Oh, hey, my bad, Daniel.
Go to boot. It's all good.
My bad. I'm sorry.
I just want to make sure. But tell us about. I mean, I know we talked about this kind of last time. The overall process. Well, let me ask you this: the process since actually committing, because I know that's different from actually
absolutely
choosing your school. So how has it been since then?
For us, it's been, literally, it's been nonstop with LSU. It wasn't like they pulled the brakes back like we got them and now we don't have to recruit him anymore. They have continuously recruited Jeremiah. Like literally when we've been down there to visit straight love, I told you we came without Jeremiah to the Southern game, we were treated with love. The staff that BK has put there, I mean, literally, I hate that Destiny Wilson left, but I have to give her a shout out because Destiny was freaking amazing to work with. And just literally, I mean, it's just been nonstop. I mean, I can't say still getting letters in the mail. I mean, like literally every week, Jeremiah's still getting the love. So it's been nonstop.
Miss Nikki, let me say this too. Your ring, Mr. Hughes did a great job. That's a big old rock on your finger. That's all I gotta say. Hopefully one day I can afford a ring like that. Okay. But
there you go. And I'm not trying to flash it.
I see you. I see you. I see you. No,
I know. I bet it was at a oyster house somewhere too.
But I want to ask you, Miss Nikki. So, would Jeremiah be an early enrollee?
Yeah, the cat is out the bag now. Okay. I don't know if you guys saw Jeremiah's team played yesterday, and I had posted because I knew at some point it was going to get out because yesterday him and a couple other people on his team did not play, and so I was like, well, I guess the cat is out the bag now because they said it all over ESPN. So yes, he will be an early enrollee. He graduated on Friday, so
congratulations!
Yeah.
Congratulations.
Hold on. We got some hand claps. What we got? I don't even know what stuff.
Stop clapping, people. Come on, people. Yeah, and that's very lo-fi hand clap.
Yeah, so we will definitely be, enrolling early, and I'm thankful for LSU for, I don't want to say it wasn't a push. It was more like an encouragement. I'm really when I look at this class that we're bringing in on corners, just imagine what that's going to look like being here as an early enroller. And we came during the spring last year when, everything was kind of still in a little bit of disarray. Coaches like Steeples had just gotten on campus. Imagine him having another year under his belt, getting the system, going through the process and bringing this level of recruits in. Oh, this could be something special. Then I looked at what the wide receivers on the other side, and I believe iron sharp as iron. As I said, you look at that wide receiver core that those corners are going to be going against. There's not a wide receiver core in the nation that's going to have that type of competition on the field every week. So they will be ready.
Right. Now, Ms. Nikki, you talked about the class, the talent that's coming in. As parents, how does that make y'all feel? Like, not only is your son going to go to a school that's going to be developed, but he's going to be able to play with elite talent that's also going to make him look good too. I mean,
I think for me, I may feel a little different than other people. My son has always played with elite talent because he played, I mean, I'm just being honest with you, everybody doesn't have a team that on Wednesday is going to sign pretty much our whole defense, and half the offense to D1 scholarships, that's not a normal thing. So for us, he's always played with elite talent from youth football. Most of the kids that he's played with, they've been playing together since 5th, 6th, 7th grade. So he's always been that way. And I think, and even Steeples has kind of talked about that, is that, when you play in those type of programs and you're used to, that type of elite talent around you, when you come on campus and maybe someone was the star of the team, you bring a different level of a little cockiness, a little confidence, with you, that really can showcase with everyone else that may have had to be the man. He's had to be the man before, but in high school, since he's been here, we got a lot of mans on this team, so I don't look at it as a bad thing because as I said, we've been playing on this team. This is his 4th year at Gorman, and everybody on these teams have been elite. We played with 4 and 5 stars. So that doesn't really intimidate him at all because as I always say it, I believe my son is a 4 or 5 star. If he had not got injured had not flipped his position, I feel like he's just as elite as anybody else out there. So he's not intimidated. Yeah, he's not intimidated by that at all. He's like, yeah, let's go.
Right.
Let me ask you this. Speaking of the parents, and how much do y'all talk to other recruits' parent? I know during the actual process, y'all, talk a lot, but since he's committed, has it still been that much communication with the other recruits' parents?
I talked to Mike Dougherty King's mom on social media quite a bit. I've also the person I talked to the most is probably Jackson Howard's mom. We actually connected when we were there for the official visit. I mean, it was already definitely a connection there. I've had a couple conversations with even Jaden Daniels' mom. Really through this process as well. When I was at the game, I met Jeray Jenkins' mom. So I've had some conversations, and even some people that we were still trying to recruit into LSU, before signing day. It was a couple parents that, some that I reached out to just to kind of see where their head was. I'm not gonna put no names out there, but I was used as an intermediary in some
So
ways.
you recruiting too?
Absolutely.
Okay.
So I'm gonna ask you this, Ms. Nikki. Have you got any 5-star commits? Because Mr. Anthony Petty Murphy was instrumental in getting Tobiano.
Well, you know what? I was glad I was coming on here because I want, and you're gonna have to give me 50% of that credit. And I'm gonna tell you why. Because they sat in front of us at the Southern game.
Okay.
And so I actually talked to her and her and her husband. They were literally they were right in front of us. And so we had an opportunity to connect with them as well, talk to them. They were asking us some questions about the process because just like a lot of parents, you look at your kid like I'm looking at Jeremiah and they looking at Javion and probably somebody's even Ricky Collins' mom. I talked to her. Sometimes you have to sit back and like you looking at this is my kid, but he's highly recruited. And sometimes we as parents have to sit back and say, wow. And just kind of take that in. And a lot of us will say, the moment can be big sometimes, and just being able to connect with other parents and really say, how do you guys feel? I think that part is something that I'm actually going to be probably spend a little bit more time once Jeremiah signs and going in, talking about a little bit more the aspect of the parent side of it, because I don't think a lot of parents still get the magnitude of what this is and really how to conduct themselves and not only learning how to educate themselves.
Yeah. And Miss Nikki, you bring up a great point, and not to kind of ask for you to give live examples, but when operating in NIL, is there any advice that you could give to parents that kids may be freshmen, sophomores, some things to look out for?
And I've shared this before. NIL was never discussed on our trip, and we were discussed NIL, but what is your trade-off? I went to some schools where NIL was overly discussed, but you didn't show me the school. So is the importance education, or is you just throwing me some money? Yeah. And in the end, you still got to play. You still just got to play. And for us, the thing I would tell parents is, make sure you're educating yourself. And not only that, but what is the team culture? There's a lot of discussion about a lot of these NIL collective deals not coming through. So, that's another thing. And then also making sure that you are knowing the rules in your state. Nevada is one state that high schoolers cannot get NIL money where California is. So, I would constantly tell people, know the rules in your state, because you don't want to make yourself ineligible because you took some money in your state and you really weren't supposed to take some money. The other thing I would say about NIL is that, I'm of the mindset, and I guess because I've been an athlete as well, I'm really concerned about the culture of you bringing in someone who's unproven. What does that look like in the locker room? And the reason I say that, we all went to high school. You know what it was like in high school, how it is for freshmen. It's no different from a freshman in college. That's right. So you already got that bullseye on your back as you a rookie in this locker room. Now you coming in and they done promised you so much money, and I've been on this field busting my butt at practice, going to class, and I'm making nickels on the dollar. I think this year, me personally, because of the money that has been thrown out there, and I'm putting that in quotations because until they get it, it's really cool. But I'm really interested to see how these college locker rooms are can maneuver through this when you have people. And look at Tennessee. Tennessee had a great year this year. How are some of those players going to feel, with that? And so that's my concern about NIL. I'm not really focused on that. Our son went to private school. We've been taking care of him. Whatever he need, we gonna take care of anyway. But I do understand that there are some kids out there who really need it to be able to survive, and I feel like everybody should get what they're supposed to get. But you gotta be able to play and do what you need to do, because what if you have you just got to do that.
All right, Miss Nikki, let me speaking of NIL, and this I don't think this technically counts as NIL, but Lamar Williams, aka Big Pressure, said I got Jeremiah some sweet potato pound cake when he touched down, a little Baton Rouge flavor.
I've never had a sweet potato pound cake.
Yeah, I've had one. Yeah, Dorian Thompson Robinson's mom made it for us, so it's really actually pretty good.
That's pretty fire. I ain't gonna lie.
Yeah,
and then also me at Mike. Shout out to me at Mike. He comes through.
What's up, Mike?
HBCU out, but he said this: you better send your son to Buddy Pugh to create some monsters at South Carolina. All he's going to promise you is a bench press and a squat rack, but he'll send you to the pros like for their other brothers. But let me ask this, because I don't know if we talked about. I know you both you and Mr. Lorenzo are HBCU grads. Did Jeremiah look at any HBCUs, or they kind of it's kind of.
No, we did. In fact, just Alabama A&M did offer him, and I had a great contact there. But I think that, in all honesty, I don't think that they really thought he would look at them seriously. Okay. And so they didn't really pursue it. They would check in from time to time, but I think when he started getting the SEC offers, they were like, let's not put any energy in that. In fact, let's see, 2 weeks ago, Jackson State's DB coach did follow Jeremiah on social media. So, but he never made any contact with him. And my alma mater never did. They blew us off, just real talk. So, I mean, it is what it is.
No comment.
Now, let me ask you a question, Ms. Nikki. So, you and your husband, you guys attended HBCUs. Your son is one of the top recruits in the nation. And your alma mater doesn't even try to reach out to recruit him. Now, of course, we know right now, Prime, he wanted to change the way HBCUs were looked at whenever it comes to recruiting. How is that helping when things like that happen?
It's probably why that coach fired. But anyway, go ahead, Ms. Nick.
Yeah, that part. I have a different take on the and it's not a popular take that a lot of, and I've, in all honesty, it's not. I think, for one, because I'm in this program at Florida where we're talking about the lack of minority coaches that are in the NFL as well as college football, I have a different perspective. We have to, in order to make moves, you got to make a move. Yeah. And I'm not knocking him for. Some people quit their jobs for $3 less, and so we mad at somebody taking that much of a pay increase. I don't agree with him participating in the Celebration Bowl. I felt like he should have moved on. I will say that. I don't think that he should have coached in the Celebration Bowl, but I'm of the mindset that there is an opportunity to elevate, but there's only one Dion, and he did. While people are saying, well, HBCUs have been elevated, they weren't elevated to this level. I mean, we were growing, but you got to give him some credit for that. Mm-hmm. Am I saying give him all the credit? Absolutely not. I'm not saying give him all the credit, but give the man some due. But the thing that I hate, and I say I hate, and I very rarely use that word, is that I do not like the vitriol that has been displayed at him, because what if we get another coach that is of his caliber that wants to come down to the HBCU ranks, and then another offer comes to him? Is this the hate he's going to get as well? Right. I mean, it kind of puts a damper on somebody wanting to come down here, because everybody wants their first shot. Even a high school coach is always looking for the next best shot. A college coach wants to go to the NFL. What makes him so different that he's not allowed to have upward mobility that all of us want?
How much time you got? because that I know that I understand the discussion, but I will, and I understand your sentiments. I will say, when we talked Friday night, I said if Jackson State messes up and loses this
You
game,
did.
it's gonna be they're gonna attack him. It's gonna be worse.
And I knew it was.
And they were attacking him before.
Yeah,
But nothing like yesterday though.
Nothing like yesterday, because it was, yeah. But then, yeah. So we'll get.
The other, and just to add this part, Pooh Bear, real quick, I knew it was going to be bad if they lost. I said that too. I agree with you when we talked about it. But the part where I have to pump everybody's brakes, and I've just posted about it a little while ago, is just because we have a Caucasian player that wants to play at our school. There's a lot of UAPB has a lot of one Scottish. We had a guy from Scotland that was our punter that is now in the league. I don't like the vitriol that he's getting, and some of the posts are saying, "Yep, that's what he get for coming into the culture." That you out of bounds for that. Yeah.
And in my opinion, the real HBCU fans aren't the ones doing that. It's the people.
I agree.
It's the people who hopped on the train in the past few years who don't really understand the culture of HBCUs and stuff. Because HBCUs don't get down like that, man.
And it's making us look bad, and that's what I mean. It's making us look bad.
Yeah, I agree.
So we talked about Wednesday night, Bluefield State, HBCU in West Virginia. A lot of people didn't. I know it was kind of our first time. They're actually 70% white.
Yeah. My friend Coach Gales used to be the offensive coordinator there. Did you guys know that? And before he went, Coach Gales that left UAPB went to Bluefield State. He was the offensive coordinator up there before he went to, is it Central Missouri that he's at? But I think that's where he
Southeast Missouri or something like that.
He's somewhere in Missouri. But that's where he left from. So that's how I know about Bluefield State.
There he is. He said down south football says Johnny come lately, folks. Yeah.
Bingo.
Well, let me say this too, Ms. Nigga. I didn't know anything about Bluefield State. I thought they were talking about Blue Mountain, which is a TV show. So
So,
but there's also what's the school in Oklahoma? That's NAIA.
Is it Lawton?
Langston.
At one time they had a white president.
Yeah.
So I mean, a lot of people don't realize the culture has been out there.
Yeah.
And the school it's Paul Quinn. Yep. Most of their administrators are Hispanic or white. I mean, people don't realize it's been DEI has crossed over into HBCUs for quite a while. People just didn't realize they had been there.
Right. It's more than just Paul Quinn. So,
there it is. Me at Mike said West Virginia. That's the other one. West Virginia State Bluefield said West Virginia State is a HBCU and it's 90% white. I think Delaware State is also 40% white. So I mean, it's not just because it's an HBCU doesn't say that's not saying
it's not exclusive.
It's not segregated.
No,
and a lot of people don't get that.
Right.
Shout out to the Jaguar sled, Graham the white kicker.
Miss Nikki, so we talked about, just kind of get back to kind of sign today. We talked about the process and stuff, and we talked about you and Mr. Renzo, how y'all handle it as parents. How is Jeremiah kind of handling it now that it's pretty much wrapped up?
Jeremiah's different, and I always tell people that.
You do.
He's just different. I mean, when we met with Coach Kelly and he committed, he's never wavered off of that. His mind has been solidified. He's not a big social media person. That's why I tell Pooh Bear when he's not a big social media person, but his mind has been solidified. He's been ready to get this, get this over with, and be done with it. But he's actually handled it to me better than I would have imagined, But I think too, as I go back, Pooh Bear, you on a team where most of your team is signing. This is expected. Mm-hmm. I think that plays a part in that. I watched him yesterday, even though he couldn't participate in the game, and the coach was talking about the number of players that will be signing on Wednesday, and just he's like, I'm supposed to be there, and because this is the team that I have been on, so I think that plays a part in it too because of the expectation for the type of the level team that he's been playing on.
Yeah. So I will say, I was watching TikTok, which by far it brings you all the great news and information nowadays. There was a lady, she was a recruiter for, I think, like Michigan State. And she was talking about she would show up to as a recruiter, she would go to games where she knew it was going to be a blowout because she wanted to see how that player reacted sitting on the bench, cheering on his teammates.
Being a team
player when, you know, saying when you're not in the game, when you're not performing, how do you react? And she said she would even stay to see how he reacted coming out of the locker room to meet his family, you know, said just to see. And she said there, and she wouldn't to give the name. She said, but there was a famous, a big name recruit that she told the school, she said, I may get fired for this, but do not recruit him. And it was kind of, they were like, huh? She's like, I got a feeling, don't recruit him. And it ended up working out. The guy ended up getting in trouble for something else or stuff. But it's just stuff like that. And it's good news to tell, you know, saying, not saying Jeremiah can't continue to learn, but for other kids, you know, people, I tell my son all the time, people are always watching. You are your brand. Yeah. Be careful, because I get people walk up to me all the time and tell me stuff about him. I've never met these people. I don't know who they are, but they know who he is, or they'll see me wearing a sweatshirt with his number on it, or see my, you know what I'm saying, my youngest Dylan, somebody took a picture of him at a game because he stood up for the national anthem, put his hand over his heart, and people were like amazed by that. I'm like, that's normal. That's what he's raised to do. His dad's, you know what I'm saying, a veteran. So, but there it is.
It's part of the culture.
And it is, and I think for us, because our school is such a disciplinarian school, we're in a private school. So, you know, it's required for us to stand for the national anthem. The players have to stand for the national anthem. It's not even you don't have a choice. It's what you have to do. They always are talking to them about their social media, you know, and not only that, but Gorman is a different beast, that if you even do things outside of Gorman, in the contract, they can punish you. So the kids know to always, whether you are on campus or off campus, there can be things that happen. So I don't think we have that issue, but like I said, I think too, we don't have that issue too, because most of these kids have played together for so long. I mean, there's a kid, I'm gonna call him out, and his name is Caleb Irvin, who plays on Jeremiah's team. He hasn't always started. He got a chance to start yesterday because Jeremiah didn't play, but he plays on special teams. And when I tell you, when they kick off, that kid sprints down. I mean, every special teams play, he's sprinting down. And even though he's not playing, he's always cheering on the kids that are not playing. And, you know, those things are not always recognized, but I do recognize it, because I'm like, he's just as good as anybody else out there. But the depth we have on our team, you know, makes it really tough to get in the game. But he gives his all the time, and he's never on the sideline pouting. He's always cheering on. And sometimes that isn't recognized because some people are just coming to see the stars, but there are players like that do that on our team.
Right. And I think too, that's a testament to the program that you guys have too. Because I mean, it's like Pooh was just talking about with his son. I mean, Pooh set that standard at his home. You know what I'm saying? The coaching has done that to his program. And Jeremiah, he's going to bring that, what he's learned at Bishop Gorman in your household, he's bringing that to LSU. You know what I'm saying? So that's quality, and that's what you want in your program.
And I think a lot of these kids are gonna. You said something that really needs to be highlighted, is that there's a lot of studs that are in the transfer portal, and I'm paying attention as a parent. I'm paying attention what BK is bringing in and what he's not bringing in, because that says a lot about the culture, which is something he's talked about a lot with us. Is, you know, he don't care about the best player. Can you fit? You know, can you follow the rules? Are you going to go to class? Classes, I don't care how many times we've been there. That is the one thing they've been preaching. That's awesome. And I think that is something that a lot of people on the outside that are just fans that don't really understand, that it is about the culture. You can't just bring in somebody that is going to create hell in the locker room or cause more problems, that the coach has to spend more time stopping the problem over here. I'm looking at the pieces that he's brought in, and I met a lot of those parents, and not only that, not just the kids, but the parents as well. It says a lot to me about the type of character he wants in that locker room, and the type of character he wants and he sees from the parents as well. And I think that plays a part in his recruiting class as well.
Right. Yeah. And I look at it as too, if you're going to be late for class, you're going to jump off sides on 4th down. You know what I'm saying? To me, it kind of all correlates.
It's all selfish.
It's if you're undisciplined in the classroom, you're going to be undisciplined on the field.
Absolutely.
You know, so
And then honestly, it comes down to being selfish. You know what I mean? That's what it boils down to. Feeling like you don't have to do whatever, you know, you don't have to show up on class on time. You don't have to, you know what I mean? It all comes down to you picking you over team.
Right.
And Ant, you bring up a good point. You know, it's like selfishness. I mean, I remember when you guys had a conversation about Boutte that we thought Boutte was going to the league. You know, and that was, you know, and that's a really unselfish move that he, because to me he still was a first rounder. You know, to me,
Yep.
that's a really unselfish move to want to say I'm going to stay and be with my team. If you look at what's coming back on offense, you know that's going to be crazy. And but I said the unselfishness, so you know that tears down the conversation that BK is not doing this and BK is not obviously
he's doing something right. He's doing something right. Yeah.
Right. And Miss Nikki, if I could ask you to kind of go back to recruiting, we were just talking about the dead period. What does that look like, from a parent's perspective?
I mean, to me, I like the dead period. I think because if you're not on this side, and Pooh Bear, get ready. Those of you guys have children that will be in this recruiting cycle. That could be a lot. You know, one of the things that I was very adamant is that he not be pulled out of class. I do not. I'm paying for tuition. He don't need to miss class. You can you can come see. Yeah, you can come see him at practice. You know, don't be pulling him out of class. And the dead period to me is a time for you to really reassess really who really wants you and who doesn't want you. I think for us, the dead period was a great time for us that, you know, get a chance to focus back on school, get a chance to look at, you know, where do you really want to go? Who do you really want to hear from? And also, to me, this is the part that I don't think people talk about. It's not just the one-way street of the coaches contacting you. Maybe it's a conversation you just say, hey, I'm not really interested in coming, so maybe you should start looking at some other players. Don't waste people's time either. And I was very, you know, open with Jeremiah is that if you're not interested in going there, let the coaches know so that they can start, you know, barking up another tree. But to me, the dead period can be a blessing because you just don't realize coaches, like literally the night when coaches can contact athletes at midnight, literally at midnight they're calling, you know. And so it's like constantly, like Jeremiah will show me his phone. Like Jeremiah started literally putting his phone on just straight off because his phone was just blowing up. And I'm like, and that's the part that I, as a parent, why are you contacting kids when they're in class? You know, I mean, so I have a different appreciation of the dead period from another standpoint because it sometimes can be a lot. Now, my son's not a 4 or 5 star, but he was getting a lot. So imagine the kids that are the Shelton Sampsons, the Deshaun Womacs, what their phones are blowing up, and it just can be too much at some time, as you know. And what I also would say too, to add when you were talking about things to share with parents, if coaches are blowing your kid up and they haven't talked to you, that's a red flag.
Bingo. Man, I got oh, my bad.
No, that's what I'm saying. That's a red flag for me.
I got a buddy of mine who's a high school coach, and he says it's a red flag if they blowing your phone up but haven't talked to him first.
Yeah,
you know what I mean. And that's, and to your point about the class, and if they want you bad enough, they'll wait till you till you get out of class. So you know they won't pull you out of class. You know, if they'll respect that if they want you bad enough, and they'll work around your schedule. Because I saw Michaela Williams, the commit who just signed with LSU women's basketball commit. She had like a pinned tweet on her Twitter: contact me between this time and this time, this time and this time. Like nothing after 8 o'clock, you know, and stuff like that. And that's
because it can be crazy.
Yeah. And not just that, but she's an athlete. I mean, she's a student athlete, student first. So she has schoolwork to do. You know, she has homework to do. She has grades to maintain. And she's not going to let this recruitment, destroy her mental to where that's all it is her phone blowing up constantly. And if they want her bad enough, they'll respect her wishes and contact her between that time period. So I think the boundaries is the best thing that you could do for a player. Because not only just that, it kind of puts another little thing out there to, okay, well, how bad do you really want me? Will you wait till 4:30 whenever I get out of school to come talk to me, or will you just be like, oh, I can't talk to him when I want to, so I'm going to? You know what I mean? Like, it's just one more thing that goes to kind of show you how.
That's funny,
crazy. But it's just one more thing to kind of show you how bad do they really want you.
Yeah, and I'm of the mindset if you want to contact me out and pull me out of class, or you're trying to contact me while I'm in school, then you're not concerned about my education. If you're not concerned about my education while I'm in high school, you sure not gonna be concerned about it when I'm in college.
That's a great point. Great point.
That's right.
Well, Miss Nikki, then you had something else?
Yeah, I got one more. One more before Miss Nikki go. And I know this was kind of at the bottom, but Miss Nikki, I'm sorry, you are on the West Coast, right? So I think you can give a little insight on this. Reggie Bush yesterday tweeted out
I saw it.
that NCAA paid $8 million quietly behind closed doors trying to clean up their mistakes. I understand why you signed that non-disclosure agreement, Mark Emmert, but I would like you to know your secret is not safe. After all these years, they're still scared of Bob. So let me ask you this, Miss Nikki. Should Reggie Bush receive his Heisman back?
Absolutely.
Okay.
Absolutely. You can't take away play. I mean, I'm also the mindset, not just with Reggie Bush. I always said that Pete Rose should be in the Hall of Fame. I mean, you can't take away his hits. You know, you just can't take away play. And even with Barry Bonds was a stud before the steroid era. I mean, if you look at his numbers based off of what he was before he came to the Giants, he was already should have been in the Hall of Fame. So. Yes, I believe Reggie Bush should. I feel like Reggie Bush was the face of what they were trying to say was wrongdoing. But if you there's some closets for some other college campuses that have some things that they really need to. And he shouldn't be the face. It's much more to it than just him.
Yeah, I agree.
And it makes you wonder what's in that NDA. You know. It does.
Yeah, and that was like the conversation out here on the West Coast quite a bit, you know, during that era. Like I said, there's a lot of skeletons, and he was made to be the fall guy. That's just my opinion. And that's a whole show, as you say.
yeah, because that whole situation. I heard Reggie talk about it. Said that was actually a legit reason for the whole house thing and everything. NCAA never asked him. Say it was a 5-minute explanation, 5-minute phone call could have cleared it all up. The NCAA never contacted them. So,
and this is the thing people fail to realize. People move all the time for their kids. As you all know, I've shared with you all, we leave here on the 29th. We're moving eventually. So
yeah. and see, and his situation, for those who don't know, Reggie Bush, and it wasn't even to move for him. It was because they were living in a home. The owner decided, they had been renting for years. The owner decided to move, and to sell the home, and they had to leave. That's the only reason why. So at least that's the story he told. It sounds logical. It's coherent. It makes sense. NCAA 5-minute phone call cleared it up. Would have been so. And the guy who gave them the home that they stayed in, I think he said they stayed there like 30 days. It was just a home in between.
It was a transition position. It was a transition.
And he was a family friend. He wasn't even like, but anyway.
It's crazy.
That's a whole nother ball game.
But Miss Nikki, as always, like I said, I can't say guess. Our cousin came by to see us, and we appreciate it as always. Is there anything? Because I don't know. I mean, I don't know if Nevada is an NIL state, like you said, but
it's not.
Okay,
it's not. We're not.
Okay. So,
but after the first year, he won't be a Nevada resident.
I was just going to say. So, is there anything you want to plug for Jeremiah? Anything he's trying to promote, or anything for you?
No, I'm not trying to plug anything. I just hope that, from a parent's perspective, for those parents out there, my heart goes out to those parents who were hoping their kid was signing on Wednesday, and I'm praying some things come through for some players that really are hoping to get some phone calls, and if they don't get them on Wednesday, I want to share this story before I get out of here. Charles, y'all know Tillman that plays for Tennessee. I want to share this. So, he's a Bishop Gorman graduate as well. His father coached both of my boys. Tillman did not have an offer at the end of the early signing period. Coach Kenny Sanchez on Super Bowl Sunday received a call from the University of Tennessee saying, "Who you got?" Tillman was the one. Look how that works out. He will be and he will be a high draft pick this year. So don't be discouraged. It may not come when you want it, but don't give up. You know, it will happen. You know, just do your due diligence, do your homework. This is the time to do your homework. And on all honesty, too, it may not be D1. Maybe it has to be D2 or NAIA, but just get there, get to be seen, get you some film, and then there's an opportunity you may show up at another time. So that's really just kind of what I wanted to end with.
Okay. Well, again, like I said, as always, we appreciate it. Acme Oyster House, Mike Anderson's, they are accepting NIL deals, and they
absolutely,
they will definitely advertise for you.
Look, and we look in any company that has Hughes at the end, we definitely will jump on that. We'll jump on that too. But yeah, Pooh Bear, he will. I did talk to Jeremiah. He's okay with the video, so just let me know how you guys want to do that, and we'll go from there.
All right, sounds good.
I appreciate you all. You guys have a great evening.
Tell him our best. With congratulations. We're happy for him. Look forward to seeing him in that purple and gold.
Appreciate it.
Hey.
Congratulations on the graduation too, man.
I appreciate it. And hopefully we'll connect sometime next year. We can hang out, have dinner.
Yeah, over some oysters.
Yes, yes. Find me some good answer. He know a good barbecue spot. So either one of them.
Yeah, gotcha.
All right. I'll talk to you guys too.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, that was our family, Miss Nikki Hughes.
Yeah.
Thank you for coming through. Where we at? We got